You're listening to the Dungeons, Dragons, and Psychology Podcast. A warlock isn't just about dark magic and demonic pacts. They represent the human desire for knowledge and power, the willingness to push boundaries and explore the unknown. I'm Robert Walker, author of Session Zero, the DMG to writing great campaigns in any system, and this is my show where I teach collaborative storytellers how to have more immersive campaigns using psychology. And today we're going to delve into the enigmatic world of the Warlock, the masters of the Forbidden Pact and the wielders of arcane knowledge. We're going to explore how to cultivate the charisma, mental resistance, and insatiable hunger for knowledge that defines a true warlock, all in the context of your own personal growth. Now remember, you can download the character sheet for yourself to use as you go along this leveling up journey. There is a link to it attached to the show notes, so just go ahead and download that and use that. If you are just jumping in, there was an episode earlier in this series talking about how to use your character sheet and the whole leveling up in real life process that we're going through for a couple more episodes. As you level up as a warlock, you're going to be focusing on your two abilities. Your primary ability is charisma, and your secondary ability is constitution. Let's talk about charisma first. It is your ability to forge pacts, both literal and metaphorical, to persuade others, to project confidence. So there are a few ways as a warlock that you could go about developing your charisma. First, work on persuasive communication. This can be done by practicing clear and concise communication, honing your negotiation skills, learning to present your ideas with confidence. So things like public speaking classes, or practicing with a debate team, or even learning how to talk about things that you are passionate about with your friends and family is a good starting place for this. Next, you want to embrace influence. So look at stepping into leadership roles in your community or your workplace, volunteering for presentations or public speaking opportunities, or even things like reading to kids at a library would be a good way to learn how to present information and be charismatic. You also want to cultivate some self-discipline. Now, warlocks in D&D make pacts, but they also have to stay in control. So you need to develop strong self-discipline to resist temptations and stay true to your goals and values and the conditions of whatever the pact it is that you forge. Remember, your power is meaningless without responsibility. Now let's look at constitution in terms of a warlock. It embodies their resilience, both mental and physical. You need the focus and the willpower to wield powerful magic and the strength to handle the challenges that come with that path. So cultivating your constitution can be focusing on things like mental fortitude. The mental strain of wielding potent magic or knowledge in the case of the real world can be difficult. Developing a strong mental fortitude through practices like meditation, mindfulness exercises, and any activity that promotes relaxation and stress management in a healthy way are going to be very useful in developing a warlock's mental fortitude. You'll also need some physical resistance. So engaging in activities that build that resilience, like yoga, hiking, anything that focuses on your ability to endure is going to focus on your constitution. So you can even look at things like running or long distance walks or cardio of some form. Those things will build up that physical constitution to go in hand with your mental constitution. Remember that a healthy body supports a healthy mind. Also focus on improving your concentration and your focus. So channeling that immense power, you'll need to practice activities that improve focus and concentration, things like puzzles, brain teasers, even strategic games like chess or checkers, or doing things like crossword puzzles or Sudoku. So now that we've talked a little bit about the abilities that you'll be focusing on, let's talk about something that is truly unique to the Warlock's journey, and that is the Warlock's Pact. Well, they form a pact, or they establish a pact with a patron. Now, in the story, this can be anything from a demon to a devil or a powerful entity of some sort, but it's not a literal demon or otherworldly creature in the real world. It's just a metaphorical representation of a force that empowers you and compels you. But you want to define your pact. That's really important about the warlock's journey. So first, you want to identify who your quote-unquote patron is. Your patron is your drive for knowledge. You could choose the scholar. Is it an unwavering ambition? You could pick something like a tycoon, or a relentless curiosity. You could choose something like the explorer as your patron. You could choose a muse if your drive for knowledge was performance or art or musical instruments. So the patron is what is driving this ambition for you, this path. What is the overarching concept that is leading you down the road that you're choosing to follow? Next, you need to write your pact, define your terms. What knowledge, what power, what ability are you seeking, and what are you willing to offer in return? I would literally write a contract with yourself that reflects the nature of your pact. It includes a code of conduct, it has the values that you hold important, and it has very specific details about what you're going to, quote unquote, sacrifice on your path towards this goal. Well, think of this sacrifice as part of attainment of your goal. It can be something as sacrificing your time to devote energy into learning this skill or this power or this ability. Sacrificing your time, making a time on the calendar for yourself to follow this can be part of following your contract. This is the contract that you're writing with yourself. And what's beautiful about the warlock and this specific path is it takes the whole idea of goal setting and motivation, and it literally helps you forge the path towards your goal. You can really focus on any of the other classes, any of the other abilities that you want to use. You could choose Warlock because it's a way of holding yourself accountable to the actions that you want to take. So it's sort of a catch-all class that if your struggle is keeping yourself accountable, choose the Warlock and then pick anything that you wanted to focus on. Now, obviously, charisma and constitution are the ideal class abilities for the Warlock, but you can forge charisma and constitution while still working on other skills that might fall into other classes. If you're focusing on being accountable to yourself, you are working on your charisma. If you're focusing on commitment to what you say you're going to do, that is something that people genuinely respect and they look up to. That will build your charisma. If you are dedicated and motivated and continually improving yourself, you are working on your charisma because people will see that and it will inspire them, which is sort of the heart of charisma. Now, finally, with your contract with your patron, who is an embodiment of what you wish to accomplish for yourself, you have to embrace personal growth. The Warlock's power grows with knowledge and with experience. This is a commitment to learning, to exploring new ideas, and pushing yourself beyond your current comfort zone. This is a way to help take you out of the status quo and help you develop that power, that inner power, by making a pact with yourself. So let's look at our rule of 3 books that might help you establish an idea of what it is that you want to forge your pact on and choose as your patron for this journey as a warlock. The first one I will suggest is by Mark Goldstein and Philip Goldberg, and it is titled Get Out of Your Own Way, Overcoming Self-Defeating Behavior. Now, this book is really awesome. It delves into 40 common self-defeating behaviors and teaches you through scientific steps how to transform those behaviors into things that are more useful for you. These can be things like anger, obsession, self-pity, compulsion, procrastination, inaction, all sorts of things that might get in your way that you might want to eliminate so that you can follow whatever knowledge you're seeking or whatever power you're looking for. Things will be in your way and you need to get those out of your way first. oftentimes when you think about the story of a warlock or somebody who goes down and signs the deal with the devil, right? These are often what they're doing when they sign a pact, when they sign a contract. They're eliminating the things that are standing in their way from becoming what they want, right? If there weren't roadblocks that they couldn't get through, they would just make their own path. Now, just remember, you are what's in your own way. So this book is a really ideal tool for the warlock. The next one that we have is by Brianna Weist. It is The Pivot Year. This book is really cool. It's daily meditations for an entire year that help you find the courage to become who you've always wanted to be. Now, we focused on one of Brianna Weist's books earlier in this series, The Mountain Is You. This one is really awesome because it gives you that just daily dose of motivation that will help you really push yourself forward. Sometimes all you need is just a few words to put you in that mindset to keep pushing forward with whatever your goal is. And this book is really perfect for that. And finally, we have, I think, a must-read book for every class, but it is particularly suited to the warlock. And this book is Atomic Habits by James Clear. Now, this is a comprehensive guide on how to change your habits by becoming 1% better every day. Now, this is using a framework called the 4 Laws of Behavior Change. It teaches you how to follow a set of rules, which can be the rules that you set for yourself in your pact for creating good habits and breaking bad ones. The whole idea behind this concept is super simple. It's that tiny changes done daily can make a huge difference in the trajectory of our lives over a longer period of time. And it is truly the only real way to make new behaviors stick is to make small changes, not huge changes. I mean, everybody around New Year's has these New Year's resolutions and, they want to lose weight in the gym or whatever. So everybody on January 1st devotes themselves to, I'm going to work out 7 days a week and get in the best shape of my life. But then by February 1st, 95% of the people who had this goal have already failed. You can't make huge changes and make them stick. You need to make small changes one at a time and incorporate each little change into your life like a piece of a puzzle. This is the whole idea behind this concept of 1% better every day. Just think of that. A 1% improvement is so fractional. And yet, if you get 1% better at a skill every day, that means over the course of even a single year, you'll be 37 times better at that skill, which is a huge amount, a drastic change. Highly recommend this book as the basis for your Warlock Pact and guiding your path as you move down it. I would also recommend this to anyone who wants to do any sort of behavior change, which this whole series is about. So even if you're not working on the Warlock class specifically, this book is super helpful. Highly recommended. You can find links to this book and the other books in the show notes if you want to take a look at them and get them from Amazon. Couple other resources that I would also suggest for the Warlock journey would be any of the TEDx videos that you can find online. There's a lot on there about changing your life and going after becoming the person you want to be. There's also Coursera and edX, which are both platforms that offer online courses in a variety of topics. You can find stuff on negotiation and communication skills, leadership, stress management, all sorts of things. Another great one is also Charisma on Command, which gives tips and exercises to help improve charisma and communication skills. Like all of our paths and classes that we choose to level up in, the Warlock path is not without some challenges. So here's an idea of how to navigate some of those things that might come into your path as an obstacle. First, you could encounter some isolation. The Warlock path can be lonely. You're writing a contract with yourself to directly focus on some aspect of personal self-improvement. And that can be challenging, especially if the people around you are not on that same journey. So doing things like seeking out mentors and like-minded individuals who understand your journey or who are also going through a similar journey of personal development can be really helpful. Try and build some genuine relationships based on respect and whatever skill it is that you're trying to develop. This will also help improve your charisma as you learn to communicate the things that you're learning and become more proficient at explaining them and demonstrating or performing whatever that skill is. There could also be the fear of the unknown. Dealing with a new skill or tackling a new challenge can be frightening. So just remember, develop a healthy respect for the skills that you're developing and trust your own judgment. Knowledge is always going to be your greatest weapon against the unknown. And if you don't know about something, you can always learn more about it. Just delve further into the reading of it or the understanding of it. And remember, practice will help improve what you know about whatever skill it is that you wish to learn or whatever ability it is you wish to pursue. The first step is always the hardest. And remember, every step further down that path is a step that gains you knowledge and experience on the course of your journey. Finally, this one may not apply to every warlock goal, but there's also the temptation of power, right? If you're developing a very good charisma, with that, there's also the ability sometimes to manipulate or deceive others. Remember that power can be intoxicating. So learn as you grow to practice self-restraint and remember the consequences of actions taken in haste or actions taken with inappropriate goals. Remember to define your boundaries as you write your contract and stick to them. Now let's look at that 3-month plan that we've been doing for all of our classes. What is the plan for leveling up as a warlock? Well, first, in the first month, it's going to be about forging that pact. So once a week, spend some time on introspection, exploring your deepest desires, your ambition, what drives you, what knowledge do you want to seek, what power do you wish you had in your mind or in your body. You can do this through journaling and meditation. You can take personality tests online. Just identify the force that is going to fuel your warlock's journey and then attribute a patron to that source. Make it up. It doesn't have to be anything specific, but just think of what entity, if an entity was a patron or whatever you're doing was a embodiment of that goal, what would it be? Would it be a scholar or an explorer or a muse, an entrepreneur? It can be anything. Just find a name for your patron. Next, you're going to spend that month crafting your pact. Define the knowledge and power that you're seeking and figure out what you're willing to offer in return for this power. What sacrifices are you willing to make with your own time, with your own habits, with whatever it is that is holding you back from moving forward, and create that, write it down. Create a personal code of conduct that reflects the nature of your pact and the boundaries you are setting for yourself. And when you have that pact crafted, put a time frame on it and sign it. Put it somewhere where you can see it every day so that you are reminded this is the contract that you signed with the patron you are trying to embody, with the person you are trying to become. You wrote a contract and signed it to yourself, for yourself, to become this new instrument of power and knowledge. And finally, in that first month, begin your pursuit of knowledge. Once you have identified who your patron is and you're working on your contract, dedicate some time to learning. Utilize online courses, audiobooks, podcasts, textbooks. Just ignite your curiosity and establish a habit of learning. In the meantime, do something to focus on not just your mental constitution, but your physical constitution. Get outside and walk as you listen to your podcasts. Work out while you're studying. Do something that's going to help improve your body along with your mind. So many times we consider the mind and the body to be separate, but remember that the brain is part of the body, and to have a healthy brain means to have a healthy body. During month 2, work on cultivating that charisma, practice clear communication. You could hone your negotiation skills and work on your confidence. This can be done in all sorts of different ways, but find some practice that's going to help you have persuasive communication with friends and family or with even people you don't know. Also work on that mental fortification. Engage in activities that are going to build some mental resistance. meditation practice, yoga, mindfulness exercises. You should be doing these at least once a week. I would strongly suggest twice a week. Don't try and push more than that. Remember, small changes are important, not huge ones. And then sharpen your focus on whatever your chosen skill is. So by this time you have your contract made, you should be starting to work on whatever skill it is that you're trying to develop or whatever abilities you're trying to acquire for yourself, and challenge your mind and your body with learning and starting to do that activity. Now, this is something you can start simply, just once a week, or if it is something that needs to be done daily, commit a small amount of time to it, 10 minutes a day, something that is not overwhelming and you could see yourself doing for the rest of your life. Now, during month 3, you're going to dive a little bit deeper. Get a little bit more complex with your topic related to your chosen field of knowledge and get deeper. Read some research articles on it. Watch some documentaries. Even reach out to experts in the field to expand your understanding and challenge your perspectives. And don't just consume information, analyze it. Practice critical thinking by questioning assumptions, identifying biases, and forming your own informed opinions through synthesis of the available information. Read some philosophy and online resources that might promote some critical thinking skills so that you can better become a quote-unquote expert of this field as you start to develop this skill further and further. And remember, at this time, during the 3rd month, you should really be stepping outside of your comfort zone and exploring unfamiliar territory. This could be doing something like going to a lecture on the topic that you know nothing about, or joining a book club that reads books on this skill or ability or whatever it is that you've chosen, or simply venturing out and going to a place where you can learn about this in a hands-on way. The goal here is to cultivate curiosity and an openness to new ideas, and do this in very small steps. Remember, 1% better every day. And just think about how simple that can actually be, right? If you are, for example, a person who wants to become a long-distance runner as part of your Warlock Pact, and you want to have crazy endurance to go run a marathon whenever you felt like it or whatever, 1% better every day can be so small. If you can run 1 mile today, that just means tomorrow you only run 1.01 miles. 1% better. That's all it is. It's hardly any more. That's like 22 steps further tomorrow. But it doesn't just have to be steps, right? Because there's so many other improvements that you can make that would make you 1% better at attaining this goal. You could get 1% better sleep. You could eat 1% healthier. You could drink 1% more water. Small changes lead to huge results given time. So remember that the Warlock's journey is a lifelong pursuit of knowledge and power, and you're not going to make huge strides in this 3-month period, but you are going to build new habits that will lead to huge changes in the trajectory of your life and your health and your knowledge. So embrace the challenge every little tiny step of the way. Stay true to your values and use your abilities for the greater good. Until next time, my friends and my Psyclithids, I will see you next session.